Hello everyone and welcome to my Minecraft tutorial. This is the 11th and final episode in a series on modular buildings and medieval design. And in this one we're going to be talking about, I suppose, more broad topics than specific tutorials. We're going to be talking about design, architecture and detail, and kind of how best to go about a project from the initial design phase to the actual details you're going to put in right at the end. So for this project I chose a medieval warehouse. I guess it was an industrial type building I hadn't done before. It's something that's pretty fitting for any medieval town, is to have some sort of warehouse, keep everything in. And yeah, I guess the idea really appealed to me. So I suppose the first portion of the design is, if you're doing a contemporary building like a medieval one or a Roman one, what you want to do is just go on Google Images, look for inspiration. I couldn't find any decent pictures of buildings I wanted to build specifically. What I did find was, if you Google medieval warehouse, what you'll find is a lot of the buildings seem to have these kind of features. And these are, I suppose you call them rooftop cranes, that are built into the actual building. They come out at about a 45-degree angle. There's a winch on the end, and you can use these to haul stuff inside to the building. So I took a look at this feature. I thought it looked pretty nice, so I tried to recreate it in Minecraft. And this is the kind of look I settled on. Obviously I did some experimentation with different things, like if I take some stairs and maybe try and make it look like a winch on top. But I don't know, I guess this was the design I was happiest with. I could also do this maybe, and put a half slab on top so that it looks kind of circular. There's plenty of options for stuff like that. But I wanted to build a building around this particular feature, because I thought, in a warehouse, in a multi-story warehouse anyway, it's the most important thing. Warehouses are built for storage. You need to shift a lot of goods around. So, I wanted this crane to be kind of a central feature. For detailing, you can maybe put some trapdoors on the side so it looks like it's being lifted up. Stuff like that. So that's kind of a basic tip for design, is to find features that are really important to you and try and make the buildings fit around them. When you're doing contemporary buildings like these, it's important to remember that you can look at as many images as you want, but a lot of it just comes down to common sense. For these roofs, I suppose, the roof design in general, it's not really a medieval design, to be honest. If I take a look outside, you can see the architecture on it it's more reminiscent of, say, an 1800s factory, this style of roof. But I just thought for a warehouse it fitted more than any other roof that I could come up with, so I just went ahead and built it. In terms of the architecture involved in pretty much any building, I've covered this before, but it's worth giving another mention in case people haven't seen it. If you've got a building made out of stone, then you want all the stone to be on the bottom. Basically, you want your heaviest and strongest materials on the bottom, and these are followed by medium density materials, and then the lightest ones, like wattle and daub, which I use wool to represent, would go on top of those. You want to keep this kind of order. You never want to put stone on top of wattle and daub, because structurally it doesn't really work, and, well, to be honest, in my opinion, it just looks a bit crap. The other thing about your layers kind of system for a building is to make sure to mix up the materials. For cobble, I like to complement it with stone bricks, as I've done here. And then for wood, it's always good to put in some logs in the middle, as it kind of helps to break it up. I haven't actually done that here. I don't know why I'm flying around trying to show you. And with wool, it's the same kind of thing. You can break it up with planks and with normal logs, and it gives a nice impression. It also makes it look a bit more structurally sound, I guess. If you're playing this on 1.2, I would highly advise you use jungle trees, as the grain of the wood goes sideways. The grain of the wood in all the other logs, so the birch, pine and traditional oak, I think it's called, or redwood, whatever you want to call it, the grain in the texture all goes vertical, but with jungle logs it goes sideways. So that could be used to create some pretty interesting designs, I guess. And what you want to do is make sure your structure is complemented nicely. You can see in this one the front walls are a bit bland, So in this case, what I'm going to do is take some half stone slabs, and you know, I'll put them in all around, I guess. I think the floor level is about here, so here'd be a good place to do it. And I'll put these all around and zip back to it in a sec. So yeah, you can see how that's broken up the structure nicely. It's actually made the building appear a little bit bigger because of the kind of horizontal lines of the texture. It makes the building look wider than it actually is. I mean, this is the same size as my inn, for example, but this looks a lot bigger. So yeah, I mean, coming on the inside, you can see some of the details that have been added, which are, I mean, this is a warehouse, so obviously your details are going to be specific to whatever you're building yourself. But in this case, because it's a warehouse, we put actual chests all around the place. I can maybe put up some sort of what looks like a traditional shelving unit. And you know, this could be used to store some more chests if I just grab some out here. You know, make shelves like that, you can still reach them. It just looks like stuff's in storage. These crates, for example, they're just trapdoors and wood planks, and it gives a pretty nice effect, especially if I stack a few more of them around. You know, it gives kind of a haphazard look of everything's still in boxes and everything's waiting on packaging, and it looks like a warehouse, to be frank. So yeah, that's one of the details. The other, I suppose, main detail of this would be this crane thing I talked about earlier. But in terms of actual architectural detailing, there's a lot of different things you can do. One of the things I've started doing more recently is making steps on the bottom of my windows, and this makes them look a bit bigger from the inside or the outside, depending on which way you put the steps facing. I've shown you how to do these skylights before. They're pretty simple. I guess my best advice would be find interesting ways in creative mode to combine your blocks to create new shapes. So say, for example, in this crane thing, what I could do is maybe, if I just get some stairs out here, I can maybe make some sort of circular structure type thing on top to make it look like it's part of the winch. Something like that. I mean, I actually prefer what was there before, but you kind of get the idea, you know, with just a few simple changes to blocks. It's taken on a kind of new appearance. But as I said, I preferred what was there before, so I'm just going to put that back. So yeah, that's just some kind of minor information on detailing. I guess the main reason I wanted to make this tutorial was because it's the final episode of the series. This is the kind of opportunity for you guys to step in and let me know what you guys want to see next. I can keep doing specific tutorials to, you know, actual buildings, or I can move on to something else entirely. I know a couple of people have requested, say I do Roman or I do Modern, which, I mean, I can do, but I think a lot of people, I think the majority kind of is going with Medieval at the moment. One of the things I do want to do within the next couple of weeks, well, the next couple of days more likely, is to build a castle like the ones I showed in my design, and then maybe use it with Invasion mod and see how long I can survive. I think that'd be a nice touch. But yeah, I guess that's all the essentials of the tutorial for now. So, oh, sorry, just as a reminder before I go, the build-a-thon is starting tomorrow at 2 PM Pacific Standard Time. So that's Saturday the 3rd of March, just in case I got my time zones wrong. So yeah, I hope you guys can make it. It's going to be a fun build. It's going for 12 hours straight, so oh my god. And I'm currently sorting out some live streaming that a couple of people have offered, so I'll hopefully have details. I'll post a couple of bulletins tomorrow with all the details once they're finalized. So yeah, I've been Mr. Archer MC. That's been the conclusion of my first tutorial series. I hope you guys liked it, and let me know in the comments what you think. Goodbye.